WCBI News at 10 starts now.
A car crash in South Mississippi claims the life of a Monroe County teenager. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Selena Schaefer. Clark County Coroner Greg Fairchild says 16-year-old Gavin Toller of Hamilton was killed when the Chevy Tahoe he was riding in collided with a minivan on Highway 45 South near Clarkdale. Mississippi Highway Patrol Sergeant Andy West says the Tahoe was driving south when a Honda Odyssey entering the road from Highway 145 pulled in front of it. West says 7 people were in the Tahoe and the 6 others in the SUV suffered injuries, some which are life-threatening. The 3 occupants of the Honda were not hurt. The intersection where the accident happened has been the site of several serious collisions. The Hamilton community came together tonight at Hamilton High School to hold a vigil, candlelight vigil that is, for Gavin Toller and the others injured in the accident. The Tupelo Fire Department is still trying to figure out what started a motel fire earlier this evening. A fire started inside one of the rooms at the Townhouse Motel on South Gloucester in Tupelo a little after 3. The owner says that he saw white smoke puffing from the ceiling and called the fire department. 3 rooms were ultimately ruined from the fire and water damage. The roofing caved in on 2 of them. There were no serious injuries or injuries at all, rather, and the Salvation Army bus came and picked up displaced guests. That fire is still under investigation. Tupelo police make 2 arrests in an armed robbery, and one of them is the victim. Initial victim Arsenio Banks and alleged robber 16-year-old Justin Weatherspoon are both in jail on separate charges. Banks initially told police he was robbed at gunpoint with his child in hand. He says he chased after Weatherspoon and another suspect until the suspect shot back at him. TBD says evidence shows that Banks had in fact been armed when he ran after the suspected robbers and fired at them, all while holding his child in his arms. Banks was charged with felony child abuse, misdemeanor possession of narcotics, and a probation violation. His bond is set at $3,500. Weatherspoon was also been arrested, and he previously was been certified as an adult through the circuit court. His bond is set at $100,000. This incident remains under investigation. On Thanksgiving night, a rap show turned into a nightmare for a West Point family. 21-year-old Deja Shaw was shot and killed, and even though investigators believe someone knows something, West Point police have made no arrests in the case. Now, as Victoria Bailey tells us, the family's attorney is taking a new approach to help law enforcement find answers.
It was the evening of Thanksgiving 2016 when 21-year-old Deja Shaw, her sister, and some friends decided to go to the Moneybagg Yo concert at the Bryan Union Hall in West Point.
Deja Shaw was shot and killed that night. Several months after the gunfire, her family's attorney released that radio ad, hoping people would step up with information.
Our hope was that individuals who were there, who witnessed or may have seen or have knowledge about what may have occurred that night would come forward, and we could offer anonymity to those people to just shed light on what happened, why it happened, and give this family some answers as to why they lost their daughter.
Her family, still grieving, is looking for closure. They want to know, was there adequate security, and what should be done to make these events safer for everyone.
And though it's been 8 months since the Moneybagg Yo concert, West Point Assistant Police Chief tells me the department isn't letting up on the investigation.
We're following leads. We're still questioning people. Right now, we're actually following the evidence that we have on hand. We're currently in the process of working with outside agencies on the evidence that we have that we collected from the crime scene to lead us in the direction of the shooter.
Attorney Philip Stroud says this is the first time he's used radio to reach out for help. He hopes it will appeal to people around Deja's age group.
There was a specific group of individuals who were there that night, primarily younger people who would attend this type of concert. So our hope was that individuals would come forward and do what was right, and in an effort to protect the community from this happening again.
Assistant Chief Albert Lee says using the airwaves is not a traditional way to gather leads, but the ad is helping.
As long as we can keep this fresh in the community eye to let them know that we are not sitting by the wayside, we're not letting it become what they call a cold case, and that we are going to pursue it wherever it may take us.
Now, if you have any information about the case, you're asked to call the West Point Police or Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. A West Alabama district attorney wants to take his experience to the Court of Criminal Appeals. 24th Judicial Circuit Court District Attorney Chris McCool says he's running for the open seat. His district covers Lamar, Pickens, and Fayette counties. McCool says he will bring more than 2 decades of practical courtroom experience to the statewide elected position. The Gordo native has served as district attorney since 2001. He will run as a Republican in next year's state primary election. Voters will go to the polls in November to fill in retiring Representative Tyrone Ellis's seat. Governor Phil Bryant set a November 7th date for the special election. The qualifying deadline for those interested in running is September 18th. If no candidate gets a majority of votes on November 7th, a runoff election will be held on November 28th. Ellis is retiring after serving 38 years on the State House. Time now to turn it over to weather for our first look with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith.
Hey Selena, a hot and humid type day, and that gave rise to a pretty sultry sunset right there. A little bit of haze in the air. Still quite steamy across our region right now, with temperatures still well into the 80s in many spots. Low 80s here in Tupelo and Columbus. Some spots, though, dipping into the 70s already. Some of those cooler low-lying spots. Now tomorrow, the heat index may push up to around 106. The actual air temperature around 97 degrees. It is going to be a warm one tomorrow. Warm for the next couple of days, actually, but some weekend storms are possible. Your full forecast is coming up.
A Columbus neighborhood has a new, safer connection to the rest of the city. Several city officials were on hand for a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new bridge on Deer Run Road in North Columbus, that is. The 2-month construction project has been in the works for about 3 years. Ward 6 Councilman Bill Gavin says over the years, heavy rains have washed away the dirt underneath the bridge. The bridge is the only exit for residents living on that road. While that new bridge in Columbus is opening, the state is closing 2 bridges in Oktibbeha County for repairs. After an inspection by the county and the Mississippi Office of State Aid Road Construction, bridges on Moore High Road and Sturgis West Point Road are now closed. Counties inspect bridges to find those in the worst condition, then send the list to the state. State inspectors look at those bridges and then make a list for repairs based on the state funding. Supervisor Brickley Miller says the bridges in Oktibbeha County cannot hold over 5 tons. The bridges could be closed for about a month. It will be a little longer before Starkville police officers can move into their new renovated offices. The completion date for the work has been postponed again due to the flooding in the basement. Now city leaders and contractors have a deal in place that should get the department into its new headquarters. Parker King has the latest.
Police station. The motion I made last night was to address the flooding issues that came to our attention during the latter part of June of 2017.
Which was around the time the new police headquarters was supposed to have its grand opening. Flooding problems soon put a hold on that.
A credible source came to me and informed me from his eyewitness account that water was leaking in the basement of the building.
So on Tuesday night, city leaders met with the company Weathers Construction to come to an arrangement on how to get rid of the water and finish the building.
I just told him we appreciate what you're doing, but it is totally unacceptable to the citizens of the city of Starkville for there to be any water seeping or flooding on the floor of our brand new renovated police station.
To solve future flooding problems, Weathers Construction will place a sump pump in the basement.
The pump kind of goes down beneath the floor, so if the water ever gets ready to rise up or something, that pump will disallow that water from rising up inside the building.
And not a cent of taxpayer dollars will be used in the process.
The contractor to fully eradicate the water and the flooding issue at no cost to the city.
Now the new completion date is set for August 11th.
Weather-wise, we have a few showers and thunder showers over here across southeastern Georgia. Some of that moisture is actually moving back to the west, and it could get here by the weekend. Full forecast is next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Early this morning, before you were even out of bed, storms were developing out here across Big Sky Country in Montana and the Dakotas. And watch what happened today. These things got going and have been producing severe weather all day long and now moving through Metro Chicago right there. So an all-day event. Widespread wind damage associated with that activity. Now for us down here, not a lot going on. You see some color there. That is just some ground clutter around the radar site. We are completely dry right now. We did see a few isolated showers earlier this evening. Here's our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Tupelo, and watch this building cloud right here, right there. See how it puffs on up and then produces a little bit of rain right there. The sun goes away and we lost the cloud. A lot of these clouds right now, this time of year, really based on the daytime heating. Once we lose the sun, the energy goes away and the storms or showers collapse, and that's what happened tonight. In Tupelo, it is warm, it is steamy. Hopefully you are watching this broadcast indoors in the air conditioning. 82 degrees, calm wind. It is a steamy night across North Mississippi and North Alabama, really all of the Twin State region right now. It is hot and humid. Now tomorrow morning, before sunrise, check out the crescent moon and Venus, that bright star on the eastern horizon. If you're up early, look east, you'll see that. And let's just hope you are up early doing some outdoor chores, because that is the time to do it, or very late in the evening, because during the day it is going to be hot and fairly sunny. 8 o'clock, 80 degrees, noon 92, 97 by mid to late afternoon. Very similar to today. You know how hot today was. And I think tomorrow will be equally as hot across northeast Mississippi and west Alabama, with maybe, just maybe, a pop-up shower or thunder shower. But we're really keeping that out of the forecast. The heat index likely in the triple digits tomorrow and on Friday too. So dangerous heat will continue for at least the next 2 days. The hottest of the hot over here in the Delta, where the heat index can get up to 110 degrees. And these advisories go all the way up there across the upper Midwest as well, with this big area of high pressure that is directing the traffic all the way around it. You can see all the storms moving around that system. But that ridge of high pressure is very strong, and it will stay entrenched here in the deep south for tomorrow and Friday, and then it's going to relax and weaken, and that will allow this area of low pressure to come on in from the east, and that will increase our rain chances from the east. We showed you that going to break, some of this moisture coming on in, and that will boost our rain chances here, perhaps by late Friday, but definitely Saturday, Sunday into next week. Here's our 7-day forecast. You can see this steamy weather Thursday, Friday, 97 both days. Low 90s, though, Saturday, Sunday into next week. Selena, with those increased chances for rain.
All right, coming up a little later in sports, Tom takes a look at talented streak of Tigers. Nettleton is tonight's stop on the high school football tour.
You're watching WCDI News at 10 with Selena Schaefer.
Welcome back. When you give blood, you give life. We talk about the blood donation process in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Sandy Kilburn, medical technologist and blood bank supervisor at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. I want to talk to you some more about blood donation. Here at Baptist Golden Triangle, we transfuse an average of 215 units of red blood cells every month to an average of 92 patients. Recipients include cancer patients, sickle cell anemia patients, patients with other types of anemia, surgery and trauma patients, and premature or sick newborns. As you can see, the need is great, and a reduction in donor turnout can put the blood supply of our nation, our state, and our hospital at a critically low level. Donating blood is a safe process. A sterile needle is used only once and then discarded. Blood donation is a simple 4-step process: registration, medical history and mini physical, donation, and refreshments. Every donor is given a mini physical, checking the donor's temperature, blood pressure, pulse, and hemoglobin to ensure it is safe for the donor to give blood. The actual blood donation typically takes less than 10 to 12 minutes. The average adult has about 10 pints of blood in his body, and roughly 1 pint is given during a donation. A healthy donor may donate red blood cells every 56 days or double red cells every 112 days. All donated blood is tested for HIV, hepatitis B and C, syphilis, and other infectious diseases before it can be released to hospitals. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist when we'll talk more about donating blood.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
Baptist Golden Triangle's teen volunteers are sponsoring a community blood drive this Friday. It runs from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the BMH Conference Center. Another day on the high school football tour features some more big cats. The Nettleton Tigers are up next. Their preview next in sports.
WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel.
It's been a roller coaster rebuild in Nettleton. Ever since the Tigers finished state runners-up in 2006, it's been every other year Nettleton has reached the postseason. A down year last year has the Tigers hungry to continue the trend and get back at the postseason in 2017. Nettleton is the 31st stop on the high school football tour.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Emerson Animal Hospital, where your pets are family in West Point.
I'm just hoping for improvement. I think we'll have a good year. The guys have really bought in. Looking forward at the schedule. I think we got a good schedule lined up with good competition, so we're ready to compete. Just ready to get out there and let these guys show what they've worked so hard to do.
Year 2 for head coach Ken Tops looks to be much improved than year 1. The young Tiger squad went through the growing pains of a 1-win season.
We were real young, man. I played with some 9th and 10th graders last year, so we'll be young again this year coming up. But hey, guys got a lot of experience last year.
We've all worked hard, and we've gotten some more players and everything. And we've had some come up from 8th grade. That's pretty good. And they'll be getting some playing time too.
We can't get to the point where we're looking ahead. Treat everybody the same, treat everybody like their state championship team. So we're just going to go out and prepare for each game as go on and take that same competitive mentality to each group. So that's the only way we're going to get better, not focusing looking at goals on down the line, taking it one game at a time.
The Tigers return a lot of talent from a year ago, and Tops believes this year's team has the potential to get back into the postseason. New divisional opponents stand in their way, but the Tigers believe they've put in the work to be successful.
We just got to work harder and focus more on the game instead of stuff that's outside off the field.
It's going to be all depending on what their mindset is and how they react to the tough part of the season. It's tough when we get to the division. If they go out there and do what I know they can do, what they're capable of, I think we can.
The Tigers kick off 2017 with a home battle against the Manatachee Mustangs. In Nettleton, Tom Ebel, WCBI Sports.
60 Schools in 60 Days with Nettleton High School was brought to you by the Countertop Shop, Hawkins Tire Center in Nettleton, and Van Atkins Jewelers.
The next 2 stops on the high school football tour, we stick with Region 4 3A with Houston and South Pontotoc, both very talented teams amongst a very talented region in 3A. And then to the weekend, we kick off Academy Week. We start with a doubleheader with Calhoun Academy and Hebron Christian, and then round out your week, or I should say start the new week with Starkville Academy. Let's get to Major League Baseball. Cubs taking on the Atlanta Braves. Cubs looking to bring out the brooms. Addison Russell says, hey, let's get it started. First run of the game, liner to left brings home Kyle Schwarber. Cubbies lead 1-0. And Mike Montgomery, the starting pitcher, he's going to help out his cause a little bit. Look at this moonshot to right. It hits the chop house. Plenty of chop, and Mike Montgomery swinging that one. 2-0 Cubs. The Cubs will keep on rolling, but then it'd be the Braves cut into this one. It's 3-0 until Ender Inciarte puts the Braves on the board. Solo shot to right. It's 3-1. It'd be 4-2. But Javier Baez has other plans for the Atlanta Braves. Slaps one to left. He knew it the moment he hit it. No point running out there, big fella. It is way gone. Cubs walk home with a W, 8-2, sweeping the Braves. Cubs now winning of 6 straight. Now we'll go to the Cardinals taking on the Mets. The Mets bats were absolutely anemic last night, but they were chopping all day long. This one is Lucas Dudas comes home to plate for Madison Russell. And then here we go. More Mets. It's 4-0 here. As Drupal Cabrera scores from a Giannis Cespedes dinger. And then here Jose Reyes is going to add to that one. More runs score. The Mets doing damage early here in the bottom of the second. In typical Mets fashion, they almost blew the game. It was 7-3. But they're able to hang on. Cardinals lose a tough one to the Mets here, 7-3. And that'll do it for your sports. Have a great rest of your night. We'll have a look at last of your forecast coming up next.
More heat, more humidity Thursday and Friday. Can't rule out an isolated shower, but most spots will stay dry. Very, very hot. The weekend, we will see some rain chances increase around here, so temperatures will lower a little bit. And don't forget, Alex, our mysterious Alex Puckett, he's back tomorrow. He's been gone for a while, but he's back tomorrow. Join him on Sunrise starting at 4:30. And guess what? He's going to talk more about the heat.
Oh, he probably seen that same forecast, right?
Or maybe he's not coming back because it's so hot. I don't know. He better be here.
It was his birthday today,
That's
so
true.
if you see him, say happy birthday.
Okay, there you go.
All right, thanks for joining us. Have a great one.